Has Snoop Dogg ever chased Katt Williamz? Because you know, dogs, cat. You know what, man? Never mind. That's a stupid ass question. Don't answer that. I already know that I'm gonna get a bit of hate for this, but I have to give this take, okay? So as you guys read in the title, I kind of don't believe Katt Williamz to an extent, of course, but I kind of don't believe him. So go ahead, watch the video, and then after the video, you can go ahead and let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. So as you guys know, Katt, he ended up coming out with a couple statements, and I decided to go over a couple of them. The first one we're gonna go over is, of course, the Friday claims that he made, where he says that Friday After Next, there was supposed to be a grape scene, and he, of course, gave his side of the story.
The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williamz had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy, right, where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are.
So this is Katt's side as to what potentially happened in the set. However, of course, you will notice that he's also using an emotionally charged word like grape, right? Which, you know, if you talk about that subject and you're opposing it, of course, you're going to win favor amongst the crowd, right? I don't want to just immediately get hooked to his charm and his charisma, because when I first saw that clip, I was like, whoa, Katt, that's pretty awesome, man. That's sick. But then I want to go check what Ice Cube said, and he said something much more interesting. Just know that this clip is going to be edited because there's a lot of dead space in between his talking. So if you want to check out the entire clip, I'm going to go ahead and link it down below. You guys already know I link everything down below if you guys want to check out the original source material. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
As far as, you know, specific things, Katt was 100 on a few things. Most of what he was saying. A couple things, you know, I just want to clarify. It was never, I would never shoot a scene in a movie, especially like Friday, where you actually see this happening on camera. That ain't my style. If you check out any of my movies, they not raunchy. You know, that was never a discussion, you know. You know, at that point in everybody's career, you know, we would listen to a certain extent, but we wasn't gonna change the movie for any actor, you know. We do what we feel, and if it was a scene, it would have been in the movie. There was no reason not to shoot it. But that's not my style. I don't even like that kind of shit in movies.
On the second day that I saw that podcast with Katt Williamz was going viral, I knew that I needed to wait just a little bit, because I didn't want to just jump onto the podcast or the trend and just go along with what people were talking about, how Hollywood is corrupt. I wanted to see who would respond, and I'm happy I did, because I knew people would respond. There was a lot of people in my social circle that were talking about that podcast and talking about how corrupt Hollywood is, and all of them were saying that, oh, you know, Katt Williamz is right, why would he lie? He said on that podcast that he was telling the truth and nothing but the truth. Luckily, we got the other side from Ice Cube, and Ice Cube, of course, gave his input, and he talked about that, yeah, Katt Williamz, he's right on a couple things, but there's a couple of discrepancies, and obviously he just mentioned the discrepancy. There was no grape scene at all, and Katt Williamz is kind of putting himself on a pedestal, talking about how, oh, it was him who negotiated to take that scene out. However, now I'm at a standstill. I don't know who to believe. Although I will say that I tend to believe Ice Cube a little more, because he had way more juice when it came to those films. Not only was Ice Cube a producer, but he was also a writer for those films. And also, Ice Cube stated that even if there was a grape scene in the script, they would have still enacted it anyways. And for Ice Cube to admit that, well, that doesn't exactly make him look good, because it's a part of the script, which means that he still would have gone along with it. So he's still putting himself on the line saying that. And so if that's the case, he might as well just corroborate Katt's story about Katt negotiating that with him. But he doesn't corroborate Katt's story because it probably didn't happen. But again, that's just speculation on my part. Now I want to go ahead and get into the joke stealing, because there was a lot of interesting things about this. Now, as you guys know, Cedric has been accused of stealing Katt's work, and you can see here a side-by-side visual that it kind of does look similar to Katt's work. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video here in the description down below. It's by Bernard Riley. He practically just does a comparison and then talks about the premises of each joke. Highly recommend you guys go and check that out. Now I want to talk about joke thieving. I think that is way more interesting, because I'm sure that by now you already know who potentially stole the joke or who didn't. Obviously, Cedric says that that's his joke, but honestly, I really don't know who to believe. Even though there's video evidence that Katt is performing the joke, can you really say that that's Katt's joke? Because when you take a look at the joke, how much more different can you make that joke when you're describing what someone looks like when they're driving a car? I mean, most people drive with one arm on the steering wheel, and some people drive with speakers so loud that if you stand in front of it, it'll spike your hair backwards. So how else are you supposed to showcase or gesture to people that you're driving a car? And here's the thing, I'm not accusing of Katt Williamz of stealing the jokes, but back in the 80s and 90s, since there was a new type of media which was going on TV and demonstrating your own set, your comedic set, people who first got to the TV and said those jokes, they were now associated with that joke. So if anybody prior to whatever time they aired that special said a joke, then they lost it, because now it was associated with that person. And the reason why I make that point is because, believe it or not, Cedric stated that he was already saying that joke way before Katt Williamz ever said it in his special.
What up, y'all? What's up? It's Sid. I'm gonna address this Katt Williamz thing one time, man. I saw people on there really commenting about that. Look, I have no idea what this brother is talking about. That joke is over 30 years old, close to 30-something years old. I did the Kings of Comedy in 1999. Probably had been doing that joke 6-7 years before that. I don't even know if Katt was doing comedy then. So, you know, again, he's a talented brother. I have no idea what he's talking about. I've never seen Katt do a space shuttle joke. So
as you guys know, comedians always saying the same joke over and over and over and over again until finally they make a special and then they unleash all of those jokes on that special. So could have Katt Williamz probably heard it and then probably used it in his bit. I don't know who's telling the truth. The only thing we do know is that there is video evidence that Katt Williamz said it first. And if you want to go ahead and give credit to Katt, by all means, you have every single right to do that, because no amount of debate, no amount of, logical thinking can ever dispute the fact that Katt has it first. But I am saying that there are complexities to this, and unfortunately, we're never really going to know the truth. And lastly, after watching the entire podcast, I have to say that Katt Williamz really gave me the impression that he's a very bitter and angry dude, man. Literally telling people that they're not funny, or other comedians, they're not funny. Funny people should not have the spotlight. There are people out there who have the spotlight who should not have it because they're absolutely not funny. Made fun of Joe Rogan and his gang. It really made me think that he's just a very bitter and angry person. Now, some people are going to argue and say, well, they aren't funny. A lot of people that Joe puts on, they're not funny. My dude, some of the people that Joe Rogan puts on are some of the most successful comedians. You're telling me that these guys are not funny when millions of people think they're funny? Nah, man, like at that point, you're just practically coping, dude. And the numbers don't lie, Are their careers dwindling? That's totally up to you to decide if you want to go ahead and make that claim, but you're gonna have to support it if that's the case. But back to Katt Williamz. When I see Katt Williamz, I see somebody who is very bitter and angry. And when I take a look at his history, man, that dude has a lot of conflict with a lot of people, man. And it's not just with other comics, but also in his personal life. This guy has been in trouble with the law so many times, it's not even funny. Which is ironic because he's a comedian, so he does funny. If you take a look at his legal issues, they stem back all the way to 2006 and just go down the list all the way to 2018. I mean, my dude, you could start a public library with the amount of times you've been booked. I don't know, man. Like when you sucker punch a 7th grader and then that same 7th grader ends up pinning you on the floor, it's like, bro, you've been through it all at this point, man. We're like, why continue to compete? Because he talks about competition. Bro, you do not need any more competition, man. I think at this point you just need to coast along. So yeah, man, I mean, I don't know Katt Williamz like that, so that's up to him to decide. Yeah, so I've already touched on every point I wanted to talk about. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.